Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Keystone Harley-Davidson. Backyard business, and we started out literally in my backyard, and then we decided, look, why don't we go to other people's backyards? And I'm in one of my favorite backyards because I come here. I bought that's a new word. I bought a bike here, and with my friend Bob Eggstein. Bob, it's great to be with you, and you're one of the nicest guys I think I've ever met. You're a good guy.
That's good to know.
In this business, business, we want to say, what's a nice guy like you doing in a business like this?
Exactly. It's not easy.
How did you get into this?
Well, I spent 25 years in commercial banking and then got to a place where I wanted to do something on my own and had always been an enthusiast with motorcycles ever since I was in my teens. My mom never let me ride, so I always had to sneak out to my friend's house, and I would sneak rides on his motorcycle. But that whole enthusiasm never left me. And a friend of mine whose father-in-law was in the business, I got to talking to him over the years and thought, maybe this could work. And he and I at that time were going to partner in a store, and that kind of fell apart. And one thing led to another. It took about 6 years. To transition out of banking into motorcycling, and I was fortunate enough to work with some really good people that found me a store. The first one that we had is up in Lehigh.
I remember that very well.
Right. So, and from that point, we were there for about 10 years, and we moved down here in 21, the beginning of 21. After there was a dealership.
You're glad you made the move, by the way?
Absolutely.
That wasn't. Yeah. That's not easy to do.
It's not. It was not easy.
By the way, I want to tell everyone, with that move, you gave me one of the most fun days I've ever had. And we went on a bus up to his site in Lehigh, and we were like little kids, maybe 40 people.
Yeah.
40. And you ran in, you just picked a bike and rode it back down here, and then went back up and picked another bike. And I always wanted to get a bike that had big bars, and I got one of those. I was hoping, but it was pretty easy to do. But anyway, that was a great day.
That was a fun day. Yeah, we had all of our customers come out and help bring the inventory down to the new store. So
Did you get it all down? Was there enough
guys? Yeah, I think it was. I think we had two sessions, and we got all the bikes down, but it was a heck of a lot of fun. So we had this big line of bikes coming down 248 and 145 right into the store.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. So
won't you move again so I can do that? Would you please?
Oh, gosh, well, once is enough. That was the most stress I've ever had because we started building. We broke ground during COVID. So
I remember that.
Yeah, it was it was hard to just say let's put a stop to it. You just had to go and just hope that it was going to turn out okay. So. We're here. We're still, we've added some new brands. We're going to add a couple more in the new year because I felt like, with the Harley store, there's a certain demographic that we look for with a Harley customer, and we weren't addressing the lower end new rider.
Gotcha.
So we just recently took on Triumph. That came on, that came on in August. And we've got two others that we're looking at possibly in January and sometime in the middle of the year.
Okay, so you will still be, that'll be your primary, will be Harley.
Yes.
But you're going to have some, that's great.
Yeah,
some other choices.
Yeah, flagship will be Harley, but it's more about, our new strategy is addressing the riding community versus one piece of the riding community.
Well, I was thinking as you were talking that when I was, we had 7 kids. I always say my dad, I had enough money to buy a motorcycle, $800 by the way at this time, actually maybe 7 something, and I bought a Honda 305. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I lived. I was 16 years old. I think I had that for 2 years, maybe a year, and then finally got enough to buy a car. But I think about the difference in pricing. So I've never been a crazy motorcycle enthusiast, but I've always liked it. And then I got a beautiful heritage here from you, which I love. And so it is a lot of. If you like it, you love it, and I think you do with people that have tremendous passion.
Yeah. So certainly, and our whole staff, they all pretty much ride. There are only a few that don't ride. I've been riding for a long time, and I've kind of gotten away from it over the last couple of years, just because doing this and just other things have taken my time. So, but I started on a Honda Trail 70. It was my next door neighbors when I talk about it, and that's what I used to sneak away on when my mom wasn't looking. So that certainly got the juices flowing. So it's a great place to come to every day because the people are passionate about it. You got a lot of fun stuff around you. It's not people are coming in here because they want to have fun, and we try to do our best to do that through events, through rides. We got our bike fest that we started about 5 years ago. That's we've kind of coined it the Lehigh Valley Bike Fest. So you want to get riders from all over the valley and the surrounding area into our store and into we have a stunt show that goes on outside.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, they burn up rubber in the parking lot. It looks like a complete fire going on. So, but it's a great event. It's 2 days, and that's really what started us thinking about. There's a community of riders out there that would like to see this. So how else do we draw them in after just an event like that? Well, we got to give them product and we got to give them service
Yeah.
to help them with their riding.
You gave me another one of my best days, and that is, and it's funny. So in our annual meeting, as you know, we always have a crazy entrance. So I've done cannonball, spacesuit, coffin, mummer suit, but everyone still refers to when we came out with the motorcycles, and that was one of my first ones. So can we do that again sometime? Would you be okay with that?
Yeah, whenever you want.
All right, I love that. There's something about the roar, and the bikes coming out, and so we'll have to pull that off again. So maybe with a different twist. Maybe like I'll go off a firing ramp, go up off a firing ramp.
Well, that would be wild, like an Evel Knievel thing. Yeah. They do at the annual Harley shows. There's a lot of times when they're introducing new bikes, they'll come out of like the back and they ride up a ramp and they come up on the stage and it would ride through the audience. It's really exciting kind of stuff. So maybe we could duplicate that. Yeah,
that would be good. We could do a ramp down the middle. Oh, that would be really good. I won't be the ramp guy though. I'm not as good at that, but I'm sure you have people at home.
We have people.
But anyway, look, if everyone can see, they can see, right, Ellie? And by the way, Ellie and Bailey, thank you so much. But the inventory here is absolutely amazing and beautiful. And just what you have here is so gorgeous. How could you even pick one of these? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, a lot of shiny stuff. We've got something for everybody. Now with bringing on Triumph, we've got the smaller displacement engine bikes, a lot easier to handle, a lot easier for a starter bike. You got the cruiser line with Harley, a lot more powerful. But then you also have the touring line, the big bikes with the bags, and where people buy those to. They do tours. They go to Sturgis, they go to Daytona, they go to Laconia. And those are the kind of bikes they ride. So they're long distance bikes, and some of those behind us. And then you've got the high end Harleys, what they call the CVOs, which are kind of all the bells and whistles. The biggest engine, the biggest this, the biggest that. So all back here, all waiting for somebody to take them out and buy them.
What I loved about the Heritage, I'm like you, I don't have time to go on a long ride per se. I'm not going for a couple of days or whatever, a couple hours. I'm good. What I liked about what I had was big enough that it really felt you had a lot of bike underneath you, but at the same time, it wasn't as large as maybe some of these, because I didn't have that. I didn't have that need.
Yeah, and what we're starting to see with some of the riders that are aging out of the bigger bikes, because they're really heavy. You're talking 1,100 pounds with full tank of gas. They can't hold those up anymore, so they're kind of moving down to the Cruiser or the Heritage because they still get the windshield, they get the bags on the side, so they can take medium trips and still carry their stuff and still ride around town if they want to.
So, Bob, if someone's out there thinking, boy, maybe I should get a bike, I don't know how to get started, come see you, right? And I think you just said it, there's all types of bikes here.
Yep.
If you want to start out, if you're, so do you ever find families that can literally come in and buy husband and wife bikes? And
yeah, we see that a lot.
I bet you.
Yeah. And once in a while we see people at this time of year, like a husband might buy a motorcycle for the wife, or the wife buys for the husband for Christmas.
Wow, that's
we've delivered bikes with big ribbons on them and that kind of stuff.
Wow.
But haven't seen that in a while. But I think the big thing for if somebody's interested in starting motorcycling, I always recommend taking the course. Pennsylvania gives a free rider training, and you can get your license from that. We do it. We're affiliated with the state, and we do it over at Whitehall High School.
Oh, okay.
So you can pretty much every Saturday and Sunday, and I think there's one during the week.
And everybody I know that's taken those courses, and you had to get your license, even if you. But anyway, everyone that I know was really glad they did it because it's helpful.
Yes, it is. Yeah, especially nowadays because with people, driving and looking at their phones and all kind of stuff. You want to be always on the offense, and you want to know how to handle a bike if you do get into a situation like that, and what's an evasive move, and not putting the bike down. They go through all that stuff. Low speed bike handling. It's a really great course. Like I said, I totally recommend that if you want to get into motorcycling and even just around the neighborhood or that kind of stuff. It's still important to do that.
What I wanted to say, because I said at the beginning, but you are a really good guy. Anytime we've worked with you, you're just. Is that what's your business philosophy? I mean, to make sure. I would assume if someone has an issue, you strike me as the kind of guy you're going to work it out, take care of it, make sure people are happy. Not that you have that often.
Yeah. No, well, we do, and
And you have service.
yeah, we have service. I think the biggest our philosophy is really about people. There's 500 Harley dealers around the country, and you can buy this bike at any one of 500. Same thing. You can buy the same clothing. The only differentiator that we have is people. And I think it's, our thing is if we hire the right people, we got the right culture, and we support the customer, that's the thing that returns business to us. So, sometimes we can help out. Sometimes the motor company helps out. But for the most part, it's building that community with our people.
So what kind of, I mean, if you buy this, they'll have warranties, but even your used bikes have warranties?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. So
yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because a used bike is another way of getting into the motorcycle Harley for a little less
That's
money.
what I did.
Yeah, for a little less money than you would have.
And
to
your
pay for
used
new.
bikes, not that I'm pushing used bikes for you, but
No.
they're like new bikes. I mean, they're gorgeous.
Yeah, I mean, I like to have late model used bikes because they come. We can warranty them. We do a 3-month, 3,000-mile warranty. That's our warranty for any used bike that we sell. You can do an extended warranty on some of those, the newer bikes, newer used bikes, I should say. So you can buy a used bike, get into it for a lot less money, but also have the warranties behind it. So it's really a great, opportunity for people to, save some money.
In a little bit of time we have, I wanted to ask you, what do you think of you're not, originally from this community, but you're involved. You've done so many things for us at the chamber. Whenever we needed you, again, you show up with 7 motorcycles, and so what do you think about this whole Lehigh Valley universe?
It has been. I don't think I've ever been part of a community like this. I think, thanks to your guidance and leadership and the team that you put together, there's always something for businesses to get involved. When we came into Whitehall, they welcomed us with open arms, and the chamber was there, the mayor was here. Everybody was just so open to helping us to get this thing off the ground, because it was complicated. It was a piece of raw land, but everybody along the way, there wasn't a lot of hurdles to get through. So we had good outreach, good support for the business community, and we still do. There's a lot of things that we do with events. We do events with other businesses, bars and restaurants and that kind of stuff, and a lot of charity work as well.
When I really got to know and respect you, first of all, again, I used to come up to your old site, and we have the chamber up there in Carbon, but I was so excited when I knew you were coming here, because we needed something here, because we had one in Center Valley, but it's no longer there. So there was a need. I knew that, and of course you were. But again, it wasn't an easy thing to do, and you started from scratch and through COVID. But what I was going to say, I'm sure there were nights where you thought, "Oh my God, what am I?" But I never saw you panic, if that's the word. Maybe internally,
I hide it well. There were a lot of sleepless nights there where, the banks were, I went through 11 banks just to get the loan for the building, because there was, COVID. And nobody knew what was going on. And they're like, well, what's going to happen after COVID? And our motorcycles going to sell? Or are they not? What's going to,
So even with your history that you had up there, I should say, you had a long, great customer base and so on. The banks were still a little, because of COVID, a little shaky.
They were. So
when you hit the jackpot with the one bank, we were like,
it was like,
do you want to thank
and I are walking down the aisle together. We're not giving up. So, and they've been really, really supportive of me over the years. And that's so helpful, is to have good relationships with other businesses and, support and on that team, financing and stuff. I mean, in short, the business community has been really great to us. Everybody wants to be part of the motorcycle, even if they don't ride. It's just kind of cool to be around.
You get in here and
it's interesting watching.
I don't want to leave.
You just want to look at stuff and sit on stuff. And
Ellie, do my arms look too muscular? If you want to But anyway, so seriously, we love having you here. I think it's good. It just worked out great for everybody.
Appreciate it.
Business is not easy today.
Yeah.
You have to keep hustling, keep fighting.
Yeah.
I even say with the chamber, they used to have a 5-10 year plan. We have like a 1 week plan because the world evolves
It's
so
so
fast.
quickly.
Are you selling? They're telling me we're out of time, but I asked one more question. I'm sorry. Are you selling much online these days? I mean, is that a new thing or not so much? Bikes, I
Not
would
really.
think.
Bikes
Yeah, you have to
definitely
feel
not. We're moving from a Harley has an e-commerce program where you can. It's going to evolve into like an electronic catalog now.
Gotcha.
Because we saw that it wasn't really. It wasn't working like a normal e-commerce site, like Amazon or something. So it was drawing people out of the dealerships. So we've been pushing back on Harley the last couple of years to change that whole model.
Yeah, I think people want to, especially with this kind of environment, they want to be with other people.
They want to touch it and see it and be part of the community.
Sure.
I keep going back to community because that's what it is, versus doing it online.
Well, we're blessed to have you here. You're a good guy, Bob.
Appreciate
You really
you
are
coming
a good
out.
guy, and I'm glad you're doing well.
Always fun.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're doing well and keep doing well so we can have you around for a long time.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, Bob Eggstein,
you.
Keystone Harley-Davidson. Seriously, if you haven't been up here, it's in Whitehall. Just come here and hang out and see what he has, and you'll probably leave with a bike, which is what happened to me. Backyard Business. We'll see you next time.